Genshin Impact has reached a whole level of greediness that I've never expected out of one of the most loved gacha games in the world, and patch 6.6 proves it. Patch 6.6 dropped a little bit more than a week ago, and the Genshin community went on fire for a very good reason. Just to sum it up very quickly at the start, there are 2 new limited characters. One of them has been awaited for literally almost a year, and disappointingly so, the other one has no theme for him yet. 7 hours of quests for barely any rewards, 63 pulls in total for the entire patch, which is not even enough for a single guarantee out of the 2 new limited characters that are releasing, no new areas, barely any events, and the fanbase had basically had enough. To give a little context on what I think is going on, Genshin's annual revenue fell from a peak of $1.9 billion in 2022 down to just $0.7 billion in 2024. And what did they do? They decided to continuously cut rewards and continuously force us to spend more money into their game, because that is what you do when things are not going your way as a gacha company. That is what we're gonna talk about today. Why is Genshin becoming more greedy?
Traveler, are you hungry? I'm not hungry either. But let me pose the question this way. Who is the biggest eater among us?
It's definitely not me.
Hey, what's everybody looking at me for? It's definitely not me. If anyone, it's this one right here.
Huh? What are you looking at Paimon for? But maybe you could lend Paimon some Mora first?
Now, the rewards problem. Perez calculated rough 60 to 64 pulls in total in the entire 6.6 patch. That is not even enough to guarantee a single limited character in a patch that has 2 new limited characters that are coming out. Okay, so I do actually want to add something here regarding the amount of rewards that you get per patch. Looking at the overall trend specifically per year, it follows the same trend, right? You have a lot of pulls at the start, and then as closer as you get to the year reset, it slows down, it goes down a little bit more. That's completely normal. But when you actually look at 6.x compared to 5.x, it does look like you have slightly a little bit more pulls per patch, specifically the 6.6. But when you factor in the amount of limited characters that were delivered per patch in 5.x compared to 6.x, that is where it truly changes. In 5.x, you need an average of 148 pulls to guarantee the characters. Meanwhile, in specifically 6.6, at least with the 2 new characters, you need an average of 222 pulls to guarantee it. When you factor in the 75 pulls per patch that you get in 5.x, meanwhile 60 something pulls that you get in 6.6, it shows that it's truly less pulls that you get and definitely less rewards you get as a free-to-play player. On top of that, there's no new explorable areas this patch either, which also means no exploration for primogens, and also some of the lowest amount of events compared to previous patches. As a comparison to their sister games, Honkai and ZZZ give significantly more rewards each patch, despite Genshin still being Hoyoverse's biggest moneymaker. They are intentionally doing this because they know Genshin has such a huge community that even if they try to make a dent, it'll be physically impossible for them to make a dent enough for them to truly care about it. That's not a coincidence, that's a choice. In 2025, they accumulated 15 million active users in the game. They're aware of the impact that they've had in the gacha community for the past 6 years, and they're not willing to back down no matter what, not even when the whole community is screaming to change. Genshin has by far the longest quest hours of any gacha game on the market right now, and simultaneously gives the lowest rewards per hour of content. 7 hours of Arcane quests and not even a single 10 pull. That's a full employment day. Like, I understand Genshin wants to be a story game, especially when it's been 6 years of a game that's been basing on lore and trying to tie things together. I can understand why Genshin wants to make sure that everything is understood by the time Shiznaya comes out, which is one of their most awaited areas in their entire game history. However, it does not explain for you to make us play this much and not even give rewards back. Genshin is deliberately using their tire stance as their biggest gacha game to pull moves like this, which are hurting their own community. And to add on that, people have been trying to say something to Genshin, like, hey, this is not okay. And Genshin decided to ban the people on their own Discord server that have been talking bad about the game. Basically, what do you do when people try to actually tell you, hey, we do not like this, we are the reason why you guys are even that big, and the community is trying to tell you this is not okay? Well, money in wallet, wallet good, we make more money, we don't care about you. Block. 6.6 introduces two new 5-star debuts, Nicole, which is one of the most awaited characters in this whole year, and then Lohan, where the issue lands. Basically, the Lohan problem is that his skill revolves around teammates triggering cryo reactions and doing more damage than him in order for him to become competitive and do more damage in the end. This is a high synergy, team-dependent kit, where Lohan himself needs someone to complement him in order to deal this amount of damage, knowing that Lohan is very team selfish, and right now there's no dedicated supports or characters that actually work well with him. However, this is fully intentional. They are manufacturing FOMO as a monetization strategy, and Genshin has been doing that for years. This is another smart tactic that they've been doing to make you pull not only for one character, but several characters in the future to ensure full functionality of the initial one you got. Right before the yearly reset, they release a character first, then months later release the supports or characters that actually make this initial character shine. You don't only pull once, they make you pull 2 to 3 times in order to increase the chances of you needing to spend money to actually get the characters that you need. We saw it with Emily, we saw it with Nefa last year. Lohan is basically the same play. They are manufacturing FOMO. Pull now or be behind and be sad that you didn't get the characters in the first place. And people might be wondering, but does not Genshin care about their community that they've been building for so many years? Well, you'd be surprised. In January 2025, Hoyoverse was fined $20 million by the US Federal Trade Commission for predatory monetization, specifically for deceiving players about gacha odds and targeting children. They were forced to block players under 16 from buying things on the game without parental consent, which is a crazy thing that they even had to be forced to block them in the first place. Even the US government noticed the predatory design, and as we've known, US has not been the best mother figure for the past couple of years. Yet, the reward structure has not changed and will not change. So this should put into the picture how much Hoyo does truly care about his community. They care until their wallets. Genshin was the gacha game and will still be. It set every standard the genre follows. The game with the most story, the most world building, the most emotionally invested player base is treating their players the worst, and it will keep going this way. The irony at the end is that Hoyoverse built one of the most beloved games ever made in gacha history, and they've spent the last years making players feel like idiots for loving it. But yeah, are you still pulling in 6.6 or are you gonna join the boycott? Let me know below.